Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Is Neutrality Not Enough? This will be Part 10, Chapter 10. The leader arrives somewhere hidden in the hills, the 10 villains standing behind him. All of them are ready to announce their presence to the world. Their first victims being students on a training camp. An informant with an owl mask trails behind the group, not wanting to attract too much attention. The signal is given. Mustard gas fills the woods. Students fall asleep in the wake of the gas. Blue flames erupt. It burns everything across its path. It traps the students from leaving the forest. The signal is given. Villains enter the woods. Fires erupt everywhere. The students fight for their lives, and the teachers are ready to give their all to protect their students. Knives fly around. Quirks are used. Gunshots are heard. The third signal is given. The villains meet up again. One of the villains has completed his magic performance, his marbles flying between fingers and taking a student. There are only 3 of their group missing. No one comments when the informant appears again with blood on his mask and gloves. 3 students follow them, and another fight happens. They are merely students, though, and against a group of grown-up villains they don't stand a chance. A hand stretches out towards a marble, but the marble is snatched away mere millimeters from the hand. 2 brothers lock eyes, and a million questions are asked between them. Fate has it, though, that the 2 brothers stand on different sides. Tonight the villains win, and they leave with a swirling portal. In their wake, they leave 3 devastated teenagers, and a teacher who was just a bit too late. Shota enters the clearing right when a purple portal disappears. Some students from 1B had told him back at the lodge that a few of his students were still in the woods, trying to help their other classmates. He'd rushed into the woods as fast as he could, all while trying to ignore the rising panic. Instead, he had focused on running while still paying attention to his surroundings. On his way, he'd already encountered Tokiyami, Asui, and Uraraka. They'd told him that Todoroki, Shoji, and Hitoshi were still in the woods together with Bakugo. Shota had told them to head back to the lodge, and he'd rushed into the direction where blue and red flames erupted from above the treetops. When he approaches, he notices 3 students standing in the middle of the clearing with their shoulders sagging. All 3 are staring at the point where the portal just disappeared. He recognizes Todoroki, Shoji, and, thank God, Hitoshi. Bakugo is not with them, and Shota tries to ignore the growing unease that thought brings. Shoji is the first who notices him, and the teen looks up. "Sensei," he says. He looks troubled, and Shota's worried feelings only increase. "Are you 3 okay? What happened?" Shota asks as he stands in front of the 3 teens. "We're okay, but they took Bakugo," Todoroki answers. Shota's stomach sinks, and he feels anger rise within him. Those bastards. They took a student of his. How dare they? He wasn't even there to protect his student. Instead, 3 classmates were there to fight for Bakugo. Some hero he is. He wants to show the villains what happens when they take one of his students. Instead of letting all his anger out right now, he pushes his emotions aside and takes a deep breath. Before him are 3 of his students who need help after this traumatic event. Hell, his entire class probably needs therapy. It would be irrational to let his emotions rule his decisions right now. It's not what his students need. Todoroki has more to say, though, and the teen looks like he has seen a ghost when he continues. Dabi was also there. Shota already knew that. He had to fight the man's clone back at the cabin. It worries him, though, that Dabi joined the League. He'd hoped that Endeavor's eldest son was just a low-life villain who, after some jail time, could join his family again. He knows that the other Todoroki siblings want that. Now he's not so sure whether that can even happen anymore, not after making a public appearance with the League. "Dad," Shota's attention immediately snaps to his son. Hitoshi looks at him with sad eyes. Al was here with them too. Oh no. Shota's stomach sinks even further. This cannot be happening. Did the informant finally choose a side? If so, it's the worst-case scenario. When Al was still neutral, it had its downsides, but at least he helped them out once in a while. Now all the heroes' secrets will go straight to the villains. Shota wonders whether this is partially his fault. Maybe he pushed too much for Al to join their side, and the informant finally got fed up with it. Or maybe he didn't push enough. Maybe he should have offered a place at UA. He's sure that Nezu would have agreed to it. He knows that the Hero Commission will take catching Al even more seriously when they find out. After the whole Endeavor stunt, the informant had already caught their attention. Now, though, the Commission will take Al being at the camp with the villains as a sign he's joined their side. Shota can't help but pinch the bridge of his nose. He takes a deep breath and looks at his students again. All three of them look guilty, as if they blame themselves for Bakugo's capture. That's just irrational, and Shota will tell them just that. Come on. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. You did all you could, so don't feel guilty about Bakugo's capture. But Dad... No, you're just students, and this shouldn't have even happened in the first place. I'll take you three back to the cabin. The ambulances will have arrived already. The pro-heroes and police will do everything they can to find Bakugo. You three need to stay safe in the meantime. The three teens don't protest, and follow Shota silently when he leads them back to the cabin where the police and some ambulances are indeed waiting. When they get back, Shota informs the heroes and police of what has happened. 2 villains have been taken in, both of them being unconscious. One of them was just a middle schooler. One more villain was found on one of the cliff sides, Muscular, the villain who killed the water hose duo. He was found with a bullet clean through his head and chest, and his eye gruesomely cut out. What is surprising is that there are no signs of quirk usage on the body, insinuating that the villain was killed without the help of a quirk. It turns out all the other students are safe, though 28 of them are injured or knocked out by one of the villain's gas. Finding Bakugo is immediately made a priority, and the police present sent people back to begin a search party. Ragdoll was also taken, and it turns out that Tokiyami was rescued by his classmates. Otherwise, he would have been kidnapped too. An hour after Shota gets back, the Hero Commission sends out a second alarm to all heroes. After rescuing Katsuki Bakugo, catching Al will become top priority to all heroes. Al stumbles through the portal and barely manages to stay upright when he feels the wooden floors of the bar underneath his feet. He grabs the edge of the bar tightly and tries to blend in with the group as they all arrive. He'd killed someone tonight. And oh God, the blood is still on his hands and it's getting everywhere. It's red, 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 red. He closes his eyes and focuses on slowing down his breathing. He can't have a full-blown panic attack when there are so many people, strangers, around. It's too dangerous. Calm down. It's not that it's the first time he's had to kill someone. If you want to survive in the underworld, you sometimes have to choose between your life or theirs. In this world, you don't have the luxury of keeping your hands clean. It's the hard truth, and Izuku accepted that. But each time, it had been a quick, clean kill, a shot through the head or heart. Now, though, Izuku had been so angry at Muscular for wanting to kill an innocent kid just for the kicks of it, just for wanting to kill, kill, kill. Muscular is the type of villain he despises the most. Izuku doesn't know what exactly happened, but he does remember that he felt so much rage at Muscular's words that all of a sudden he was sitting on top of the villain and carving out his eye with a knife. He doesn't regret it. Muscular was the worst of the worst scum of the earth. He didn't deserve a quick death. But he was still human, and oh God, there was so much blood. He doesn't even know whether the kid got away. Oh no, What if the kid witnessed the entire thing? No, 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 no. Before Izuku can mentally spiral down even more, though, Shigaraki snaps him out of it. Oi, Al. You're the reason Muscular didn't come back. Izuku doesn't trust himself to verbally respond, so he just nods. He's happy for his mask. It can't betray how emotionally fucked up he is right now. Dabi glances at him with a worried expression, but Izuku chooses to ignore him. Shigaraki tisks, and then looks away at Dabi and Compress. You two go lock up the brat in the back room. I'll come there once I'm done here. The two villains disappear to the back room. Dabi looks at Izuku one more time with worry in his eyes. When the two have left, the TV crackles to life. I hope your attack went well, Tomura. Shigaraki immediately answers eagerly. Yes, Sensei. We got the brat. Well done, Tomura. Shigaraki lights up, and Izuku moves to sit down at the bar, to beg Kurogiri for a drink a little stronger than a milkshake. Usually All for One doesn't say more when the other people are present, preferring to speak to Shigaraki in private. He never pays attention to anyone other than his protege. Unfortunately, today seems to be getting even shittier for Izuku, because the TV doesn't cut out, and instead continues. Kurogiri, bring Al here. I want to speak to him, in private. Izuku's stomach drops. Are you fucking kidding me? He has the sinking feeling that he knows what the supervillain wants to talk about, and that if he isn't careful, he won't be coming back alive. Annoyance flares up inside him. He really just wants to go home and have a breakdown about his whole day. Izuku squashes all of that down, though, and instead takes a deep breath as he steps through the portal that Kurogiri has created. Right now, he's the infamous informant, Al, and he has a supervillain he has to deal with. The room Al steps inside is dark and so warm that it's almost smothering. The walls and floor are made of gray concrete, though it's clear that the building is old by all the cracks running along the concrete. Machines line the walls and are whirring, in the way that Al has heard so often on the TV, though it's much louder here. Al notes that they all seem to be medical machines. So the rumors are true. The king of the underworld is weakening. In the middle of the room, he sees a tall, dark figure sitting in a big leather armchair. The figure is surrounded by tubes that are connected to all kinds of machines. Al, how nice of you to join me. Here, take a seat. The figure, All for One, gestures at the plastic hospital chair placed in front of his own leather chair. Al swallows, but doesn't show any sign of his nervousness. Instead, he walks as confidently and relaxed as he can towards the seat. When he sits down on the chair, he notices that the villain is missing his eyes, and in place for them, there is only skin. Secretly, Al thinks he looks like a fried potato. So, Al, All for One continues with a sinister smile. Your network and influence has grown immensely since the last time we spoke. Your father must be proud. Al nods and forces himself to answer politely. Yes, he is. The villain hums. Young Tomura has been helped hugely by your information. I only give my clients the best. The villain chuckles, though it lacks any joy. I wonder if... Cut the crap, All for One, and tell me why you brought me here. Al cuts in coldly. He isn't in the mood right now for niceties. The villain's smile disappears, and the atmosphere seems to freeze over. Of course, if you're so impatient. All for One extends his hand. I want you to join me, Al. Time seems to stand still, as Al stares at the extended hand. He knew this offer would come sooner rather than later. The villain is simply too proud to pass up on such a good informant as himself. He also knows this isn't a request. No, All for One doesn't ask for things. He takes them. But Al has already prided himself in staying neutral. He especially won't change his beliefs for someone as evil as All for One. Letting out his own intimidating aura, Al looks at the villain with ice-cold eyes. No. All for One retracts his hand slowly and asks, "No?" His voice is laced with a warning, and it shows just a little of the danger that the villain is capable of. Al steels himself and ignores the chill that runs down his spine. Instead, he gets up from his chair and stands tall in front of All for One. "Yes, I said no. Are you blind besides also deaf?" Al asks with simmering anger in his voice. He hates it when everyone thinks that he has to choose a side. He doesn't want to. He hates them both. And this villain has the audacity to ask, "I don't want to participate in your little squabble with All Might." Al turns around and walks toward the purple portal that has appeared out of nowhere. "You'll regret this, Al." Al turns around in front of the portal and looks at the supervillain. "Come and get me," he says with a cold smirk. "Fried potato." As he steps through the portal, he hears All for One threaten. "I'll make you beg for mercy, Al. The next time we meet, you'll wish you'd joined." When Al steps through the portal and inside the bar again, he's immediately assaulted by a stretched-out hand. He almost manages to evade, but Shigaraki is fast. With one touch, Al's mask crumbles to dust, and Izuku Midoriya is standing in the bar. He quickly jumps to the side before his face can be disintegrated too. Shigaraki looks at him with pure malice, and his posture has something feral to it. "You little brat!" he screams, and Izuku backs up some more, also feeling his anger rise. "Let me leave, Shigaraki. I'm fucking done here." "No!" the villain snarls, his posture also getting more threatening. "You offended Sensei. I'll kill you." All the other villains in the room shuffle around nervously, not really knowing what to do, and not really understanding the situation. Some of them have their weapons drawn, and seem to be ready to attack Izuku at a moment's notice. Izuku also draws his 2 knives and grits back. "It's his own fault. He knows I'm neutral." Shigaraki's face contorts with frustration. "Who fucking cares about sides? Just join us already, you brat. Your power is nothing compared to Sensei's, and you know it. What's so wrong with choosing us when you hate the heroes?" "Yeah, Al-kun, I would love it if you joined. Blood looks so pretty on you. I want to see it again." Toga pouts, and she stands next to Shigaraki, with her knives twirling from hand to hand. "Who cares about the heroes? They suck anyways." "You suck too," Twice adds from Shigaraki's left side, where he's leaning against the bar. Izuku looks at Shigaraki, at the not-quite man-child, at the group of villains standing around him who are all trying to convince Al to join them. They're not the first to try it. They threatened him and assaulted him, something others have done many times, and something inside him snaps. Why can't he just choose his own side? Why is everything so black and white? Why is he still even here? The knives in his hands shake, and he shouts back with barely controlled rage. "Because I fucking hate you all!" Tears of frustration start running down his cheeks, and he wipes them away furiously. "You just take and take and take, and you destroy and kill. So no, I don't want to join and will never join you. Now let me fucking go." Izuku pushes himself away towards the exit, but is stopped by Magne, who drags him to her magnet when Shigaraki screams. "Stop him!" Izuku is about to use his knives to start fighting a way out of here when a crackling voice interrupts them. "Let him go, young Tomura." Shigaraki hesitates, and All for One seems to notice that, because the villain adds coldly, "We'll first take everything from him he cares about. Seems fitting, right?" What? Izuku feels panic rise within him, but he doesn't show it. They're going after everyone he cares about. What will they do? Hurt them? Or worse, kill them? He can't lose Hitoshi, who's going to be such an incredible hero, or Todoroki, who just started to use his flames, or Mei, his best friend. He can't lose his dad, even though the man wasn't there for most of his life. He isn't sure whether he could take that. Shigaraki seems to think differently, though, because the man starts scratching his neck, and a manic grin appears on his face. Yes. Yes, that's much better. The villain closes the space between Izuku and him within seconds, and Izuku can't do anything but watch, still being restrained by Magne's quirk. I'll destroy you, Al, Shigaraki hisses so close that Izuku can smell his awful breath. Sensei said I could destroy everything I hate, and I really hate you right now. This time, Izuku doesn't have a snarky remark, and instead storms out of the bar as soon as he's released from Magne's quirk. He's too angry and upset to say anything. He does realize one thing, though. He just messed up. Izuku is almost flying over the rooftops, so fast as he is running back to his apartment. He has to hurry and collect information, make plans, and keep his loved ones safe. Collecting information is something he can do. It's what he's good at. Now that he's had a little bit to think about what he's done, he realizes he's just made the king of the underworld his #1 enemy. Yeah, I really fucked up. He's not sure how he's going to fix this, and just thinking about it makes him shake in anger. That bastard. He'll find a solution to this problem, though. He always does. He has to. He's so caught up with his own thoughts, though, that he doesn't notice something looping around his foot until it's too late. Wooden branches curl around his ankles, up his legs and arms, and before he realizes it, he's laying on the concrete roof of a building with Kamui woods towering above him. Al, you're hereby arrested for stealing government files and kidnapping. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 10 of Is Neutrality Not Enough? We're nearing the end of this fic. Chapter 11 will be up next, just a couple more chapters to go. Drop your thoughts, comments, reactions to this chapter below. This is kind of a huge turning point for everything within this fic, so I'd love to hear what you all think. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.